Hey guys, as you know, on last Friday we talked about the elimination method, and so today is day 2 of elimination method. And if you can't fully see what I'm writing on the board, make sure you're listening to what I'm saying. And you learned this method on Friday, so you should be able to walk through and solve the problem as I go through and work out the problems. You have these same problems on the paper in front of you that you picked up off the back table, so it should still be pretty easy for you to walk through the steps. So this first equation that we have is x minus 2y equals negative 19, and 5x plus 2y equals 1. And I just want to double check that you can see it. I'm going to scoot it up a little bit. Yeah, you can still see a little bit better. And so with elimination method, remember you're writing both equations on top of each other in their standard form. If you look at this problem, the y's cancel out. 2y minus 2y. And so we're going to combine the rest of the remaining equation. 5x plus x is 6x. And it's equal to negative 19 plus 1, which is negative 18. We're going to solve for x and divide both sides by 6. And so the x value is equal to negative 3. Now that we know the x value, we're going to substitute it back into the problem. And we're going to find the y value. So I'm going to plug it into the first one. And so then for my x, now I have negative 3 minus 2y equals negative 19. Add 3 to both sides. And we have negative 2y is equal to negative 16. And divide both sides by negative 2. And so our y value is 2 negatives are going to make a positive 8. And so remember, we write our answers in what? Coordinate pairs. So we have our ordered pair of negative 3, 8. And there is the answer. Hopefully you got that. Give me a second to write it down. Pause if you need to. And we're going to move on to the second one. The second equation is 3x plus 4y is equal to 18. And negative 2x plus 4y is equal to 8. And if you look at it, none of the variables automatically cancel out. So the second thing you should look at is which one will be easiest to cancel out. And if you look at our y's, that would be the easiest because we have a positive 4y, positive 4y. All we need is to make one of them a negative. So we're going to make our bottom row a negative. So we're going to multiply the whole row by negative 1 so that we can get those opposite sides. And so we distribute the negative 1. The 2 becomes a positive. Our 4y becomes a negative. Our 8 becomes a negative. So now our y's eliminate itself because 4y minus 4y cancels. We combine our x's, so we have 3x plus 2x is going to be 5x. And 18 minus 8 is going to give us 10. Divide by 5 on both sides, and x is equal to 2. So now we know the two systems cross at 2, and so we're going to now plug it back in so that we can figure out our y value. And I'll plug it into the first one. And so now we have 3, instead of x, we have 3 times 2 plus 4y equals 18. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract 6 on both sides. And we have 4y equals 12. Divide by 4. And our y value is 3. And so now we combine both of those, writing as an ordered pair, and these two systems cross at 2, 3. Everybody got that? Hope so. Okay. The last one, if you remember yesterday, we talked about, not yesterday, Friday, some of the problems won't automatically eliminate. Some of them you have to make eliminate. And so this is a case where we're going to have to make it eliminate. I'll just stick with the x's. Start with the first one. If we look, they both have 7x and 5x. Let me make sure you can see it on the screen. Yeah, you can. So we have 7x and 5x. And so we're going to interchange those two. And so I'm going to take the 7 and multiply the whole bottom row by 7, and the 5 here, multiply the whole top row by 5. So those two will end up being the same, so the x can eliminate. And remember, we have to make one of them a negative. So now when I distribute, I end up with 35x. Then 5 times negative 12 is going to be negative 60y. And then 5 times negative 22 is going to end up being 0, carry the 110, negative 110. Bottom, we distribute, we end up with negative 35x. Two negatives are going to give us a positive 56y. And then two negatives are going to give us a positive 8 and a 98. Then we combine like terms. Our x's cancel. And so now we combine our y's. And we get a negative 4y. And then negative 110 and 98 is going to give us a negative 12. Divide by negative 4. And y is equal to 3. Now that we know what our y value is, we can plug it back into the problem. I'll plug it back into the first one. And so we have 7x minus 12 times 3 is equal to negative 22. It's negative 36, so we're going to add 36 to both sides. We have 7x is equal to 14. Divide by 7, and x is equal to 2. And so these two systems cross at 2, 3. Any questions? If so, sorry, can't answer. Moving along. On the back, it says, which method will be the best process to solve the systems of equations? So up until this point, now we have done 3 different methods. They are substitution, elimination, and graphing. And so if we look at this first one, and I'll scoot it down because I'm sure you probably can't see it. Both of them are in what? Hopefully you said slope-intercept form. And since they're slope-intercept form, the graphing method would be the best one for this one. Because you can put it in your calculator and see where they cross. On the second one, which one would be the best method? If you answered substitution, you are correct. Substitution. Because they already solved for x. So with this problem, it'll be quickest and easiest to just solve and plug in the form for x. And then on the last equation, it's already, both of them are standard form. And we can easily make that half x eliminate itself. So the best method for this one is elimination. And so that pretty much sums up all 3 systems that we've learned: substitution, graphic, and elimination. If you look on the board or on your calendars, which you already have inside your notebooks, you will be working on bookwork today. So go ahead and get started.